a video adaptation of SIDBI's coffee table book on the journey of microfinance, from a blank canvas to a masterpiece. We dedicate this coffee table book to the millions whose lives have been touched or transformed through microfinance interventions. It's these real-life success stories that fill us with fresh energy and inspire us to create our own.
From a blank canvas to a masterpiece.
This book depicts an extraordinary journey. From a blank canvas in the 70s to dashes of form and color today, this book captures the fascinating story of Indian microfinance. Contents of the book traversing the journey of microfinance, right up to the way forward.
The canvas theme helps bring this picture to life as it uses creative imagination with subtle strokes of paints to draw parallels to the progress SIDBI has made in microfinance space. This book exhibits the empowering role played by SIDBI to help prosperity seep into the world of microfinance and how it touched lives across the country, and continues to do so today.
Before the 1970s, the canvas of microfinance lay bare and empty. The first drops of color fell on the blankness in the 1970s when a few progressive economists and thinkers decided to create a new climate of development in India. As India's poor were largely excluded, they relied on money lenders. By 1980s, microfinance in India started evolving around the SHG concept, predominantly an NGO-driven intervention in the financial inclusion space. These steps could usher some changes and provided many with a decent livelihood and a better standard of living compared to the previous years. It is women who are the leaders in change, and without their participation, poverty can never be removed, says Elabhit, founder, Sewa Bank. Microcredit gets into community building mode with the setup of NABARD in 1982. It was back in 1990 when SIDBI emerged on the scene as the market maker. In 1994, SIDBI launched microfinance activities through its microcredit scheme, MCS. The year 1999 was special for SIDBI, as its successful pilot MCS program was upscaled. SIDBI was born on 2nd of April, 1990. SIDBI's illustrious journey commenced with the objectives of nurturing the growth and development of MSME in India. Microcredit scheme was launched in 1994 to extend financial support to the disadvantaged section of society through well-managed NGOs. Dr. Sailendra Narayan.
SIDBI made them through bold initiative during the 1990s, by starting nationwide microfinance program, against systemic odds and misconceptions about microfinance models, is today a viable development banking model well perceived globally.
Shri Brij Mohan.
Based on a study of Grameen Bank of Bangladesh, SIDBI decided in 1994 to utilize the services of NGOs for their reach and efficiency to provide tiny loans to those bypassed by the formal financial sector, rather than setting up microfinance bank of its own.
SIDBI Foundation for Microcredit, SFMC, is set up in 1999.
SFMC mission:
to create a national network of strong, viable and sustainable microfinance institutions for providing microfinance services to the economically disadvantaged people, especially women. The next journey SIDBI venture into was the transition from informal to formal NGOs to NBFC corporate structures. In the year 2000, with a view to draw from the international best practices into the country, the National Microfinance Support Program, NMFSP, was launched by SIDBI in collaboration with TFID, UK.
Strengthening MFIs from within.
Besides funding, SIDBI also provided grant and soft loan for the different type of activities, like strengthening MIS, capacity building grants, sectoral study and providing training starting from the senior management to field credit officers on business and strategic planning. Capacity building efforts bore fruits with NGOs transforming into NBFCs. SIDBI in April 2000 to draw upon the international experience and bring in the microfinance best practices within the country. SFMC entered into the collaboration with DFID, UK, IFAD, Rome, KfW Germany and others to provide funds for on-lending and capacity building support to partner. As the market maker for the sector, SIDBI pioneered the concept of Capacity Assessment Rating, CAR, the MFI rating tool on various parameters, that has become an industry standard for lending to MFIs. A corpus was created for meeting part of the security deposit requirements of the loan amounts sanctioned to the MFIs. The fund has so far facilitated extension of formal financial services to over 31 lakh people through MFIs. RBI included MFI lending within the ambit of priority sector and recognized it as a tool for financial inclusion.
The United Nations declares 2005 as the International Year of Microcredit.
Professor Muhammad Yunus, awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006, jointly with his institution, Grameen Bank. Andhra Pradesh saw stupendous growth in microfinance. Multiple lending led to over-indebtedness. The emergent situation prompted an ordinance and there was a significant clampdown on microfinance activities. This led to near stoppage of microfinance activities and consequent defaults. The disbursement falls from 5,000 crores to 8.5 crore and repayments rates falls from 99% to 20%. As per a study by economists Sen and Thomas, 2016, IGIDR, the monthly per capita consumption of poor households in Andhra Pradesh fell by 19% as a direct result of the stoppage of microfinance,
says industry expert Vijay Mahajan.
From 2011 onwards, new bolder hues seeped onto the canvas and period of resurrection began. Sincere efforts were made to breathe fresh life into the picture to begin a new era of prosperity. It was in the year 2011, when RBI intervened in the microfinance space. Marlegam Committee was set up to address the issues and concerns of the microfinance sector. By December 2011, RBI defined the regulatory architecture for the NBFC MFIs, facilitating the systematic and orderly growth of the sector over the next few years. SIDBI championed the adoption of responsible finance practices by the sector for providing access to financial services to bottom-of-pyramid populace in an ethical and transparent manner while respecting the dignity of the client. SIDBI propagated tenets of responsible financing as part of loan covenants for assistance. SIDBI organizes Lenders Forum meetings every year comprising key funders to MFIs across the sector. The framework of harmonized COCA tool for assessing MFI's degree of adherence to the Voluntary Microfinance Common Code of Conduct. With a view to promoting transparency in the sector, SIDBI set up the India Microfinance Platform, in collaboration with the World Bank and Microfinance Information Exchange, MIX. The establishment of the India Microfinance Equity Fund in 2011 to 2012 by Government of India, was done to augment the equity base of smaller MFIs. An enhanced equity base was expected to enable them to access bank funding, says Pankaj Jain, Joint Secretary, DFS, Ministry of Finance. Poorest States Inclusive Growth Programme, PSIG, run by SIDBI and funded by UK Aid, has been chalked to improve the lives of the poor, especially women in low-income states, through better access to a gamut of financial services. RBI accords self-regulatory organization to MFIN to ensure effective monitoring of the function of NBFC, MFIs, their compliance with the regulation and code of conduct, and the best interest of the customers. On April 8, 2015, Honorable Prime Minister of India launched a Micro Units Development and Refinance Agency, MUDRA, as a wholly owned subsidiary of SIDBI to fund the unfunded. RBI gives nod to 10 micro-lenders to set up small banks. 9 out of 10 entities granted license to set up SFPs were supported by SIDBI. 8 of these were MFIs. We are grateful to SIDBI for being material in initiating the microfinance initiatives in the northeastern region, and for being an integral part of our growth and success from near failure to present position, where we are at the threshold of opening the doors of Northeast First Small Finance Bank, by investing into the banking company, says Rupali Kalita, Managing Director, Northeast Small Finance Bank Limited.
SIDBI's steadfast support was greatly helped Jan Lakshmi's growth and geographic expansion, and has also enabled us to move towards our dream of converting into a small finance bank, says Ramesh Ramanathan of Jan Lakshmi.
Demonetization, through has an initial impact on the recovery of performance, impelled the sector to adopt digital modes of transacting. MFIs increasingly started looking for less cash modes, by leveraging technology. Support to digital financial literacy programs, being made possible with proliferation of mobile phones.
The work of SIDBI in rebuilding the sector through responsible finance initiative to support the RBI's regulatory regime, has revived the sector, and the transformation of several MFIs as small finance banks, client outreach of 35 million and acceptance of MFIs as an important cog in financial inclusion landscape stand testimony to the importance of MFIs and work done by SIDBI, says industry expert Manoj Sharma.
Urga was on the brink of hunger and hardships before having access to microfinance. But with 6 cycles of the loan to her aid, she built upon the fisheries business to a level where her quality of life and home had improved. She is self-sufficient today, and provides for a roof and livelihood for her children. Najrul and her family fended for themselves by weaving on a hand loom which barely gave them a livelihood. Within 7 cycles of loan from Kashpur, she was able to graduate onto a power loom, with an upgraded lifestyle and better livelihood opportunities. Lending happy hues to lives. Anandi, fulfilling life's needs by crafting disposables, a beneficiary of Annapurna. Sati Mandal, a satisfied 5th cycle beneficiaries molding hardware. Beneficiaries of Arrowhen. Meet Sutradar, bottling purified water to empower. A beneficiary of Bandhan. Sauji Velala, breaking gender barriers to cultivate life. A beneficiary of Bellstar Investment. Sheila, shaping her future through pottery, one of the oldest human interventions. A beneficiary of Kashpur. Similarly, a merit of Rick, Rima, Asha, Geeta Devi, Sumitra Devi, Omia, Saroj. SIDBI Foundation for Microcredit SFMC team. Recognition of contribution towards microfinance. SIDBI is encouraged to envision a tomorrow that is more colorful and vibrant, one that paints the hues of happiness and financial independence into the lives of the bottom of pyramid. This shift could be more aligned to meet the Sustainable Development Goals (SDG). The way forward for the microfinance sector, as envisaged today, is digital microfinance, green microfinance, peer-to-peer lending. Through its sector-building efforts, SIDBI has been able to create a network of more than 100 strong, viable, and sustainable MFIs who are contributing substantially towards the national development objective of universal financial inclusion. Hand-holding and nurturing of the MFI segment by SIDBI has helped the microfinance industry evolve from the fragile informal moorings to a full-fledged industry segment, which has become a potent tool for the last mile connect. Lenders/investors of all hues now wish to be a part of this socio-economic change agent, viz. microfinance. From being the sole lender to NGO MFIs at one stage to a stage where the sector engages so much investor interest, SIDBI derives tremendous satisfaction from this evolution filled with myriad hues.